Hello viewers and welcome to newzimbabwe.com. My name is Aida Metu and today on The Focus we have Salingoni and Kelvin Chitunge from Broad Alliance Against Sanctions, who have been camping at the American Embassy in Westgate for 2 weeks now, and they have vowed to stay put until sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe have been removed. Sally and Kelvin, can you tell our viewers more about why you are there and when are you going to leave?
We as Broad Alliance Against Sanctions were carrying out a video at the American Embassy to show our detest against the sanctions that were imposed on Zimbabwe 18 years ago. In the past, we have realized that people were making petitions, people were doing marches to show their detest against the sanctions, but the Americans have not been moved. So we decided that maybe if we go and stay at their doorstep, we sleep there, we eat there, we do everything there, maybe they will be moved, maybe they will realize that our generation, our ordinary citizens are suffering from the so-called targeted sanctions.
Are you not being harassed or anything by the embassy security?
So far we haven't experienced any harassment from the embassy security or even from outsiders. And
does it look like you are going to move away? Because if we look at yesterday, the ambassador of America, he was applauding Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean government, that it is doing better in the path of to democracy, and some of the reforms are being implemented. So isn't this going to ruin the relationship that is being created now between the two governments?
Actually, what we're doing is we're not disturbing them from their day-to-day runnings at the embassy. We have not said anything bad about them or shouted at them. We're only showing our detest as ordinary citizens to show them that we are the ones who are suffering from the sanctions. The so-called people who are said to be targeted don't really seem to be targeted by the sanctions. For example, the person who's on the #1 list for the sanctions is Robert Mugabe. If he falls ill today, he flies to Singapore. Yet ordinary Zimbabweans can't get an ordinary or decent treatment at the hospitals locally. So at the end of the day, it's us, the ordinary Zimbabweans, who are suffering. And whatever that we're doing there, we do not have any intentions of ruining the relationship between America and Zimbabwe. We're actually exercising our democratic rights as Zimbabweans to demonstrate.
And possibly to add on that, as a Broad Alliance Against Sanctions, we're actually happy that the intent to mend the relationship between the two countries. But we are quite aware of what they did before. If a petition is handed to them, they'll tell you that they are looking into it. And when they say they are looking into it, your anticipation is it will be for a positive result. But for now, we have realized that to that effect, we are not leaving that place until sanctions are removed. Remember the video we are conducting, we are doing it, and our objective is for removal of sanctions. And once they are removed, we leave the place. So we are happy that they are mending the relationships, and we'll stay put.
And now, what if it's going to take like a year? Are you still going to be for them to remove the sanctions?
The fact that we went there to camp and put an objective to say we are there until sanctions are removed, it means we are ready to stay put for even 5 years. What we demand is the removal of sanctions. We are not deterred by the time they are going to take, but we anticipate that the sanctions will be removed even today.
Do you think your decision will change Trump's government? They are thinking on the issue of sanctions, considering that your organization doesn't have more than 20 people right now.
We are much anticipating that, putting into consideration that of late, those who were pushing for the removal of sanctions were those who were said to be targeted, or they are those in government or from certain political parties But it's only that now we've realized that the sanctions are not actually targeted to those people who are said to be targeted. They're targeting the ordinary Zimbabweans. And it's a first to have the ordinary Zimbabweans trying to push for the removal of sanctions. So we are very much into positive consideration that the sanctions are going to be removed by Trump's government.
And Broad Alliance seems to be getting much support from the ordinary citizens. When we started the video, we were only 3. And today when we came here, we left around 80 people camped at the embassy, meaning that ordinary Zimbabweans are coming to join in our cause to also show their distaste for the sanctions. So maybe by end of the week, maybe there will be 500 people.
Okay, because I think the first time I came, you were about 7
Yes.
people. Okay, wow, that's good progress. And are you making progress? And also, have they even come to you and spoken with you guys?
Personally, I'm happy that after talking to them, there are issues that we highlighted to them, like them saying they don't have money for Cyclone Idai and only donating 100,000, yet they've got money to donate for other activities to do, like with human rights, democracy. And after talking to them, the next day they made a donation of 2.5 million. So we're thinking that they listened to some of our considerations.
You're tuned into newszimbabwe.com Focus. We will be taking a break. Stay tuned.
I joined Diaspora Funeral Police when my father passed away. Without them, I don't know where I could have started with all the things I covered for the funeral. For me, to be honest, Diaspora Cash Plan, it was very easy, good transaction. It was only a matter of a phone call. Then they said they would do everything the rest. To be honest, by end of the day, I got the settlement.
Welcome back. This is newszimbabwe.com. And if you are following us, you should subscribe to our Newzim TV. We have here in the studio Salingoni and Calvin Chitsunge from Broad Alliance Against Sanctions, who are camping at the American Embassy, and they are telling us the reasons why they are camping at the American Embassy so that sanctions can be removed. Lastly, I wanted to know, is it about sanctions, or is it about Zimbabweans shifting their mindset on governance? Can we really talk about sanctions right now, or maybe talking about governance?
In the area of governance, the government has to play its role. And we are happy that the government is playing its role to the demands that have been put on the Zidera. Like they're talking of the rule of law, you can see that there are acts which are in the process of being repealed or even amended. We've got the POSA, we've got IPA. Those acts are being amended. So we are saying the government has to take its role. They have to play a party. And also the sanctions have to be removed at the same time, because the process of removal of sanctions and the process of governance being taken place, these whole processes, they are affecting the ordinary Zimbabwean who is not even taking part in those processes. So we are saying they have to remove the sanctions, and those processes have to be done by those who are responsible. But as Zimbabweans, we are saying we respect governance of our country and the rule of law of our country.
And at the same time, when we talk of good governance, it is the role of government that we as ordinary Zimbabweans are protected, that we as ordinary Zimbabweans get employed, that we as ordinary Zimbabweans have a good living. But I think if sanctions are removed, it will give us, ordinary Zimbabweans, a true picture of whether our government is failing or it is actually doing good. Because as it is, the president goes out there and says Zimbabwe is open for business, but at the end of the day, I think Zimbabwe is closed for business as long as there are sanctions, and no one wants to come and invest in a country where there are sanctions. So the Americans should remove the sanctions. Then we as ordinary Zimbabweans will see in the remaining years up to 2023 whether our government is practicing good governance or it's failing.
And then what next?
And then the Zimbabweans who decide through the ballot papers we are a civilized community, and we know how to express our satisfaction and dissatisfaction. That is through the ballot paper.
Okay. Then that is, we will see after if you are successful. Well, you have been watching newszimbabwe.com. My name is Aida Metu, and we had Salingoni and Kelvin Chitsunge from Broad Alliance Against Sanctions. Thank you for watching.